Got it. Okay, this is the House Environment and Transportation Committee. We have 51 minutes to pass many bills. So, okay, first bill is House Bill 12, Delegates Otto and Hartman. Who's got that one? Agro-tourism buildings, folks. Who's got that?
No, I think Delegate Lehrman has that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, is she not here?
I move favorable, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Yeah, second.
Now let's go to House Bill 73, Robin Lewis.
That is also Delegate Lehrman.
Oh, is it? Okay, how about House Bill 86? That's
Thank you, Mr.
Marvin.
Chair. House Bill 86 that you just sprung on me unexpectedly, Mr. Chair. And I do have my file folder right here in front of me. Now, House Bill 86, Mr. Chair, was voted out of the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill makes multiple changes to the statute related to tenant rights and protections. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 alters the information a landlord must provide to all prospective tenants if landlord uses ratio utility billing, better known as RUBS, and allows a tenant to inspect certain records. Amendment number 3 requires an itemized statement of costs incurred by a landlord who retains a portion of the security deposit and allows estimates of costs to be incurred by a landlord to be used under certain circumstances. Amendment number 4 clarifies that a tenant organization must pay a certain reasonable fee charge to all other users in a meeting room in an apartment facility after the first meeting of the organization each month if the landlord charges a fee for the use of the room. Amendment number 5 adds a list of individuals identified as a qualified third party under the bill. And the last part of amendment number 5, Mr. Chair, allows protections currently in law as modified by the bill to a victim of abuse as defined in section 4-501 of the Family Laws article would obtain protective order, a final peace order, or on report by qualified third party. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? These amendments, Marvin, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much everybody on both sides signed off on them, did they not?
That is correct.
Okay, let's move to a vote on the amendments. All those in favor of the amendments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No, the
Aye.
ayes have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a
Second.
second? And there's a second. Any discussion on the bill before we vote? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go to a roll call vote only because I want to know who all is here. Roll call.
All right. Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Lehrman,
Yes.
Frazier Hidalgo,
Dave?
Yes. Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Jacobs,
Yes.
Wyville,
Yes.
Ampry, who I think might be missing.
Okay.
All right, Ampry is absent.
Yep.
Silberti,
Yes.
Wells,
Melissa?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
all right, Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Prettyman,
Yes.
Foley,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Terasa.
Yes.
Parrott is not here.
Yeah, he's excused.
Boyce,
Yes.
Clark,
Yeah.
Jalisi,
Yes.
Anderton,
Hold on. Yes.
Gilchrist,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes. House Bill 86 passes. House Bill 1, let's go back to House Bill 12, Delegates Otto and Hartman. I believe, Brooke, you have that?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I could not get
That's
it.
okay.
So there is one HB 12. There is one delegation amendment that simply there's one amendment that simply makes the bill a delegation bill. Move the amendment. Oh, move the amendment. Is that okay?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion before we vote on the bill? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Ben, who is absent right now? Do we have
I believe
Marlon?
Delegate Ampry has joined us, so it's just Neil.
Okay, all right. So that's 24 to 0 to 1. Okay. All right. How about House Bill 73, Robin Lewis's bill?
Thank you. The subcommittee had no amendments. HB 73 just authorizes Baltimore City to use some of the fines collected by Baltimore City from the red light cameras after covering costs to use on available sort of complete street programs and safe routes to school programs. This is a bill that we passed last year as well and passed out of the full House. It's just Baltimore City. It's a local, and we have a letter in support of it. So move the bill favorable.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstaining? So that's 24 to 0 to 1, correct?
Mr. Chair, I think we need to move
Correct.
the bill, don't we?
That was the bill.
That was the
sorry,
bill.
no
Delegate,
amendment.
there were no amendments.
No amendments. I see Vaughn is having fun putting up the photographs of my childhood photographs that I sent him. So
Must be amazing, Mr. Chair, to have all that extra time.
time. I was thinking all that extra hair. Anyway, House Bill 141. Equity and transportation.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you already did 86. Sorry. Okay. House Bill 141. So there are a number of amendments. Amendment number 1 strikes the commission on transportation equity. Amendment number 2 narrows the capital projects for which a reduction or cancellation requires a transit equity analysis. Amendment number 3 alters the timing of the required public release of a transportation equity analysis. Amendment number 4 requires the analyses and consultation for certain capital expansion projects. Those were all amendments that the subcommittee adopted. I believe we have one extra technical amendment as well from Patrick. Is that correct, Patrick?
Yeah, it's just a technical wording amendment.
Okay, and then one extra technical wording amendment. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments? All right. Well, Delegate Otto has a question.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, these amendments relieve the fiscal note on that?
Yes. So the almost all of the fiscal note, not all of it though.
Well,
yeah. But,
Thank you. That's
Yep.
But it was
almost all.
signed. It was signed off on by appropriations, correct?
It was signed off on by appropriations, by leadership. We've done a lot of work, as Delegate Ruth has, over the session to make sure that this is not in any way a burden on MTA. And in fact, I will add that this is the kind of work that the federal government is going to require us to be doing within the next couple of years. And so in some ways, this is good because we're getting out ahead of things, which will put us in a more competitive posture for federal funding.
Okay. On the amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The amendment carries. The bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those, any discussion on the bill is amended? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Will Wyvil is opposed. Anybody else? Okay, Will Wyvil is opposed. So that would be, is everybody present now except for Neil?
Yes.
Okay, so that's.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
are we able to pile on this? I know we can't do a lot today, but if.
I think we just need to keep moving. We need to move
Okay.
bills. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
No, fair question. Okay, House Bill 193.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 193 was voted out of subcommittee favorably with one amendment. The amendment limits the bill to the golf carts to electric. So it just. That's all.
Okay.
Move the amendment.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay.
Aye.
The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this golf cart bill? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimous. Everybody, nobody voted against or abstained, right? Okay. House Bill 193 carries unanimously. House Bill 222. Delegate Parrott's bill.
Delegate Parrott isn't here because he wasn't here to vote his bill out of subcommittee, nor is he here to vote his bill that he loves and is so precious to him. House Bill 222 was voted out of subcommittee favorably with one amendment. That amendment prohibits the issuance of a citation of a violation for this act. Move the amendment.
Okay, is there a second on the amendment?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Delegate Terraza has her. Do you want to ask a question about the amendment or about the bill itself?
I'm not sure, so I can wait for the bill.
Okay, we'll vote on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the amendment the bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Delegate Terraza.
So can people still get pulled over for this? They just can't get cited,
It can't get cited.
but they can get pulled over for this.
Theoretically, I think, right, Patrick, they could get pulled over. They can't get cited. And it's on certain roads, and it also requires MVA to educate folks as well as they're coming up and getting their driver's licenses to not be in the left lane.
Yeah, I guess I have concerns about it if it's going to increase the possibility of people getting pulled over.
Dave, this is the same bill we passed last year, correct?
It is almost the exact same bill we passed last year. The only difference is it has a slightly lower fiscal note, which is less than 30 grand. So it's the same bill we passed out last year.
Okay.
It also didn't have the amendment. That's why we just did the amendment.
Yeah, that's exactly. So we wanted to make sure we had this amendment on.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Well, I guess it's 24-0-1, which means the golden secret for his bills is for him to not be here. So, okay. House Bill 487.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 487 was voted out of subcommittee favorable with the following amendments. Amendment number 1 changes the term of non-conventional towing to police-initiated towing. Amendment number 2 strikes the requirement that DSP set towing rates and establish information required on a towing invoice, and instead requires the tower applying for the DSP tow list to submit a rate sheet, not using per pound billing. Amendment number 3 requires a ban of per pound towing by October 1 of 2023. Amendment number 4 requires DSP to make the tow rate sheets available on request. Amendment number 5, if there is a fee dispute, requires the tow to release the cargo on proof of ownership, if the trucking company owns the cargo, an insurance letter or a signed letter of guarantee from the trucking company. Amendment number 6 requires the tower to release the vehicle on payment of 20% of the invoice. And finally, amendment number 7 provides that the 20% payment of the vehicle release does not eliminate the remainder of the financial obligation. Move the amendments.
Second.
Any discussion about the amendments? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote on the amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the bill as amended. Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Jerry Clark's opposed. Anybody else? Okay, the bill.
I just wanted to be Neil for once.
No comment.
How's it
Okay,
feel?
House Bill 487 passes. That would be 23-1-0. So, okay. Next bill, House Bill 528.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill passed out favorable with no amendments. The bill authorizes the town of Williamsport to undertake renewal projects for blight clearance by exercising eminent domain in certain areas that are in commercially zoned properties only. Move the amendments or move the bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill before we vote? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 543.
Great. This bill does exactly the same thing. There are no amendments except that it does it for the town of Hancock. Move the bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 551. Marvin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 551 is favorable with amendments. As amended, the bill requires a landlord leasing a residential property for the term of at least 1 year to notify the tenant in writing or through electronic mail at least 90 days before increasing the tenant's rent by more than 4%. The amendments are the bill, Mr. Chair. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, and I assume do the amendments change the title of the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. The title of the bill now is Real Property Residential Leases Notification of Rent Increases. I want to emphasize that word notification, Mr. Chair.
Right. Okay. On the amendments, there's no discussion. All those in favor of the amendments signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, on the bill as amended, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? The bill passes unanimously among those present. House Bill 586.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 586 is a bill that deals with agritourism and then agricultural buildings. There's one subcommittee amendment that changes the effective date of the bill. Move the amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
When does it change the effective date till?
Oh, come on. I don't
never
have it in
mind.
front of me.
It just moves it from October to a June date.
Thank
June
you.
1st.
I had to do that. Okay, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? There's no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the bill carries unanimous among those present. House Bill 649.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill establishes inspection requirements for MDE with respect to permit holders operating under administratively continued water discharge permits and those in significant noncompliance of water pollution laws as specified. Amendment number 1 makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 strikes language that would have prohibited MDE from administratively continuing discharge permits past a certain term, establishes inspection requirements, establishes certain exceptions to the bill's inspection requirements, and clarifies the application of certain penalties. Amendment number 3 alters reporting requirements and moves up certain reporting deadlines under the bill. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will, do you have questions on the amendments or the bill itself?
The amendments.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this bill had a huge fiscal note. Do the amendments address that or not?
They bring it down, but it's still the first year, I think about $9 million, and then it goes to about $7 million per year.
Wow. Was MDE involved in any of the amendment process or not?
Yes, it was. I can't say how extensively, but I know that it was, at least with respect to one amendment.
All right, thank you.
Appropriations signed off on this, correct? They did.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Delegate Jacobs.
Do we know what the vote was in appropriations? Sorry.
This
I don't
was,
think-
this
I don't
was,
think-
no, they don't vote on it. It was, it's a check-in and the speaker's office has approved, but this was not a vote taken by appropriations committee.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so in the original hearing, I see that Maryland Farm Bureau was opposed, Delmarva Chicken, NAIOP, et cetera. Did these amendments address their concerns?
I honestly don't know. Delegate Love, do you know?
So the amendments address a lot of their concerns, and Delegate Weigel, the amendments were crafted and gone through line by line with MDE. And the fiscal note also doesn't take into account the revenue. So in the end, it is designed to be revenue neutral.
Can we vote on the amendments and then continue the debate on the bill? Is that okay, guys? Okay. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. On the bill, any further debate before we go to a roll call vote? I'll go to a roll call vote then. Roll call.
Stein,
Yes.
Holmes. Holmes,
You're muted,
Muted.
delegate. Oh, you
Well, that
gave
was
a-
a thumbs up, so that's.
you gave a thumbs
I'll
up.
take the thumbs up.
Yes. The space bar wasn't working. Yes.
Learman,
Yes.
Fraser Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
No.
Jacobs,
No.
Wyval,
I appreciate the work on the bill, but I'm going to vote no. Thanks.
Embry,
Yes.
Ciliberti,
Negative.
Wells,
Absolutely.
Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Prettyman,
Yes.
Foley,
Yes.
Stewart,
Indeed.
Lehman,
Yes.
Tarasa,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Clark,
No.
Jalisi,
Yes.
Anderton,
No.
Gilchrist,
Yes.
Healy,
Aye.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes.
That is 18-6 with one excused.
Okay, 18-6 with one excused. Okay, House Bill 749.
I have that one, Mr. Chair. The recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill establishes the Maryland Park Explorers Grant Pilot Program in the Department of Natural Resources to provide Anne Arundel and Baltimore counties with equal funds to establish local park explorer pilot programs. Amendment number 1 removes Calvert County from the bill. Amendment number 2 alters funding for the pilot program. Move the amendments.
Is there a second for the amendments?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments? Delegate Wyval.
Oh, my usual question. So what's the fiscal note at now?
Thank you for the question. So the fiscal note is 100,000 a year, of which 50,000 would be for Baltimore County, 50,000 for Anne Arundel County, and that's only for 3 years, fiscal years 24 through 26.
And why did Calvert opt out?
I believe that they had, I don't remember his delegate.
Calvert felt that they didn't have the staffing to proceed with it at this time. They're having trouble covering their part-time and full-time summer help. So they would rather not participate at this time.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, on the bill, all those in favor signify by saying.
I think we need to vote the amendments still.
Do we forget to vote the amendments? Pardon me. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill before we vote? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries. Unanimous among those present. House Bill 813.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 813 was voted favorably out of subcommittee. The amendments are the bill. Move the amendments of the bill.
Second.
Okay, on the amendments, any discussion? Okay, Delegate Wyval.
Sorry, so the speed cameras were removed, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The
Aye.
ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimous among those present. House Bill 855.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have that bill. House Bill 855 passed out of committee without any amendments. This bill establishes the Urban Agriculture, Water, and Power Infrastructure Grant Program within the Maryland Department of Agriculture. Move the bill.
Is there a second? There is a second. Any discussion on the bill? All right, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries. House Bill 873.
Mr. Chairman, I think the vice chair may be trying to say something.
I need to abstain.
From which one? 855?
Yes.
Okay, pardon me. The vice chair has abstained from House Bill 855. So I make it 24-0-1. No,
23.
23-0-2. Okay. All right, House Bill 873.
That's mine. House Bill 873 is a local sheriff salary alteration for Washington County, typical local bill. Motion is favorable from the subcommittee.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion on the bill before we vote? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? House Bill 873 carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 878.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 878 received a favorable recommendation from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. This bill establishes the Housing Opportunity Trust Fund as a non-reverting special revenue fund within Howard County Department of Housing and Community Development. The fund must be used to promote equitable access to affordable housing for households of limited income in Howard County. No amendments, Mr. Chair. Move favorable.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on, and by the way, I believe we have an Attorney General opinion that indicates that there are no constitutional violations.
That is also correct, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion on the bill before we vote? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. Let's go to House Bill 918.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 918 was favorable with amendments. This bill prohibits certain residential landlords in Montgomery County from preventing cable television company from accessing a dwelling unit for the purpose of constructing, installing, and servicing cable television system equipment if a tenant has requested cable television system for services, or discriminating in rental or other charges based on cable television system subscriptions. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 provides an action to be brought in court of competent jurisdiction as opposed to the district court for the county. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Any discussion on the amendments? Delegate Wyval.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Holmes, could you remind me, was MMHA on board with this now, or are they still opposed?
I do not have the answer to that question. I was looking at the previous.
I wasn't clear after the discussion.
Yeah. Matthew, can you help us out here?
Let me just take a quick look again at their testimony to see exactly what issues they were opposed on originally.
Yeah, I was trying to find it as well, but anyway.
Sorry, I don't have my notes in front of me.
That's fine.
Generally, no, looking at some of the provisions that they were opposed on.
I think it's safe to say that they're not thrilled.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
What's that?
Move the amendments.
Yeah. Okay.
Second.
Okay. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it.
Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill before we proceed to a roll call vote? Roll call.
Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Learman,
Yes.
Fraser Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
No.
Jacobs,
No.
Wyval,
No.
Amprey,
Yes.
Siliberti,
No.
Wells,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Prettyman,
Yes.
Foley,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Tarasa,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Clark,
No.
DeLisi,
Yes.
Anderton,
No.
Gilchrist,
Yes.
Healy,
Aye.
Chairman,
Chairman votes yes.
18-6, one excused.
House Bill 918 passes. House Bill 927.
That is me, Mr. Chair. Hold on. Great. Okay. So 927 is a bill dealing with the excessive real property that can be disposed of. There are several subcommittee amendments that I'm trying to pull up on my computer, but it's being very cold or is frozen. Oh, there we go. Okay. So amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 alters the definition of affordable housing used in the bill and authorizes the sale of property to a nonprofit organization. The definition, we're just making it consistent with other provisions of the Housing and Community Development article. Amendment number 3 clarifies that DHCD may consider other factors beyond the minimum elements enumerated in the bill when determining the suitability of a property for use or redevelopment of the property as affordable housing. Amendment number 4 requires DHCD to make a determination of the suitability of real property for use or redevelopment as affordable housing within 60 days. And alter certain notice and listing requirements in the bill. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the amendments.
There was one more amendment, just to follow up.
Sorry. Okay. What's the other amendment?
So amendment number 5 would require the unit of
I
state
understand.
government disposing of the property under the bill to consider certain factors if multiple offers are received for the property, and would strike provisions of the bill relating to transfer of funds from the sale of property under this bill to a certain fund.
Thanks. Sorry, I didn't see the page break. I hadn't scrolled down enough.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote on the amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The bill carries. Any abstentions? Okay, the bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 1057.
Okay, that one is mine. And this is the long-awaited amendments to House Bill 1057 from the Prince George's County Delegation. Everything has been worked out. The amended version has unanimous support from the delegation. And what has changed is it establishes instead of, it establishes the Prince George's County Recreation Blue Ribbon Work Group. It establishes membership of the work group, which now includes the president of the Prince George's Boys and Girls Club, a representative of the County Department of Parks and Recreation, who is designated by the director of the department, a member of the local county and municipal government employees union, the CEO of the County Arts and Humanities Council, a representative of the National Recreation and Parks Association, a representative of the County Aging and Disability Services Division. And the amendments add all these members, alter the purpose of the work group, change the date by which the work group recommendation shall be submitted to the county council, and strikes language authorizing the creation of a local county recreation authority. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion of the amendments on this local bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion before we, Delegate Otto?
Well, I hate to bring it up, but I've got more communications on this bill than any bill I've had that's been before us this session. And
Charles, I believe these amendments shut all those people up.
All right. I'm going to trust Ann Healy on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, it has been worked out among everybody that's why they added all these people. And it is now a blue ribbon commission. They're not creating an authority, which was the biggest sticking point. Every agency of the state, of the county, like the county council's on board.
And Montgomery County.
It has nothing to do with Montgomery
doesn't
County.
affect us.
This is all Prince George's.
Well, the Parks and Rec planning and.
Yeah, this deals with, okay, let me just take a step back. In Montgomery County, they already have their recreation separate out of the Park and Planning Commission, which they did back in the 1950s. This is a study to see if it's going to be done in Prince George's, and there's a Blue Ribbon Commission to look into it. And it only affects Prince George's.
Thank you so much. I moved the amendments if we have it. But
Also, Marvin, you had your hand up. Are you good?
Yes, sir. I was just going to expand upon what Delegate Healy has already talked about.
Okay.
I have nothing else to say.
I was going to say, don't do that. Let's move on. Okay. Are we voting on the amendments?
Please.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none on this local bill, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes, any abstentions? The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. House Bill 1076.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1076 was voted favorable out of subcommittee with no amendments. Move the bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. And no abstentions. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill passes unanimously among those present. House Bill 1081.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1081 was also voted out of subcommittee with no amendments. Move the bill.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on this bill before we proceed to a vote? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of House Bill 1081 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 1147.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1147 received a favorable with amendments from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. As amended, the bill establishes additional requirements for virtual meetings that are held by common ownership communities. Amendment number 1 establishes that equipment or systems used for virtual meetings must allow certain participants to hear and to be heard by other members in accordance with the governing documents of the common ownership community. Amendment number 1 continues on, Mr. Chair. It says clarifying provisions of the bill regarding the ability to participate in a meeting and also authorizes the person conducting the meeting or their designee the ability to mute all participants under certain circumstances. It also authorizes the person conducting the meeting or their designee to revoke the ability of a participant to unmute and, if necessary, remove the participant from the meeting after a warning if the participant interferes in the ability to conduct the meeting. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussions or questions on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No, the ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 1216.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have that bill. It was voted out of committee favorable with amendments. The amendments alter the funding of the grant program, taking it from $5 million to $250,000 a year. And amendment number 2 alters provisions relating to the review board and clarifies grant eligibility requirements. This bill establishes the Urban Agriculture Grant Program and Grant Fund, and it's a statewide program. Move the amendments.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no.
Aye.
The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, all those, is there any discussion? Seeing no wish for discussion, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? The bill carries
Abstain.
unanimously among those present. House Bill 12.
The
Mr.
vice
Chairman.
chair is abstaining.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, the vice chair has to abstain. Okay, House Bill 1262.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1262, we just discovered needs an amendment, so I'd like.
Okay. I guess that must be the bill. Dave?
Yeah, I said I'd like to hold the bill.
Oh, you like to hold the bill? Okay, we'll hold the bill.
We like.
Okay, we'll hold the bill. House Bill 1295.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1295 received a favorable with amendments recommendation from the subcommittee. And first off, Mr. Chair, I'd like to read the amendments that were approved by the subcommittee and then offer another amendment after that, Mr. Chair. As amended by the subcommittee and approved by the subcommittee, the bill requires the governing body of a condominium or cooperative housing corporation to develop a smoking policy if the property is a multifamily dwelling. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2, limit the applications of the bill to multifamily dwellings subject to condominium or cooperative housing corporation. Clarifies that policy would apply to a dwelling unit in a multifamily dwelling that is rented by a residential owner of the dwelling unit to a tenant under a lease. Establishes certain criteria for development of the policy and provides the construction of an act. Move those amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Delegate Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in plain talk, is this is just establishing a policy? Is that what this bill is doing now?
In plain talk, Delegate Jacobs, you are 100% correct. Establishing a policy only.
So it's not restricting smoking, it's just establishing a policy.
No.
It is establishing a policy.
So when you want to buy a condo, you will know what the smoking policy is before you buy.
Thank you.
Delegate Weigel.
Yeah, what was multifamily defined as what? Was that 4 or more units?
I believe that is the definition that has been used previously in other definitions of the real property article. I don't have it in front of me. Matthew, if you could clarify that, I appreciate it.
Yes, so it wasn't in the definition, but in the application provision for the bill, the provision would apply to a multifamily dwelling with 4 or more dwelling units.
Thank you. That's standard language throughout Article 8 of the real property article.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one quick question. When and if legalized marijuana is passed, will that be considered smoking just like it's the same as cigarettes?
Yes.
Should that be clarified in this bill?
No.
It's a different substance.
It's the definition is of something that you burn and inhale and exhale.
Okay.
That's it.
That covers everything legal and illegal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Bill Clinton would have approved. So
I didn't inhale.
Yeah, right. But you could inhale. Okay. On the
I
amendment,
didn't let it out.
on the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, the
Mr.
amendments.
Chair, I
Yeah.
would like to offer another amendment, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
And the other amendment that I would like to offer strikes language in the bill where it talks about amendment to which alters the definition of smoke or smoking under the bill.
oh, that was the thing that I described.
Yes, sir, that's correct. So I'd like to offer that amendment as well, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that amendment, which clarifies Jerry Clark's question? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to
Move
have.
the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, on the bill as amended. Any discussion? No? Okay, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. It is 454 We'll stop there and we'll come back after the floor session, finish this up, and there might be some other things that our staff might have been able to add in the meantime. So pack up your laptop and your binders and head on down. See you soon.
So
Oh, good.
I'll show you really fast.